Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm the real Jussy.
I'm Peter Parkour, and we are
the Distorted Theorists. So in today's video, you'll notice there's a little extra distortion. And that's because today is our very first video of the Distorted Theory.
So the Distorted Theory was an idea that we had when we came up with this channel. What it is for certain videos, like you're obviously following the fact that we like comic book movies.
That's right.
So if you look at the MCU or even the DC universe, the majority of the movies, if not all of them, are connected in some way,
Right.
much like comics are. So what we wanted to do was to put our own spin on some theories of where the movies could go, but we have no idea where they're going to end up. The thing about it is, the little twist here
It gets good.
is that our theories, like the title says, are distorted. Some of these could be plausible.
But basically we're just going to take some evidence of what we've seen in movies, little glimpses of what we've caught, and be like, you know what? This could happen. And we're going to share it with each other. And here's another little secret. Peter has no idea what I'm going to theorize about, and I have no idea what he's going to theorize about, which I'm sure will make for some great and funny content for you guys as we rebuke each other here in the video.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, so for today's video, Jussy has some things to talk about with
I got some stuff to get off my chest.
Yeah. I didn't do my homework, so I don't have one for today. But you're taking the reins on this one, buddy.
You know, and that's fine. So today I got one that kind of incepted in my brain when we actually went to watch Eternals. So for you guys watching right now, this distorted theory is very much going to lean on what I witnessed in the Eternals, how I interpreted it, and where I think it may tie into the greater MCU once we get there.
Sure.
So, as you've seen in the title below, today I'm going to tell you how I think the Eternals have something to do with the X-Men coming into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
You were obsessed with the
Well,
X-Men.
I got proof, I got some documentation, I got some ideas, and I really do believe and truly believe that the Eternals are the cause for X-Men in the MCU.
Go for it. Wow, me.
Okay, so first of all, I want to talk about each individual Eternal, their power, and a little bit more about their, I guess, chemical makeup that I believe they could have caused the X-Men, okay? So I'll start, before I get into the characters, as you know, and of course spoilers ahead for anyone who hasn't seen Eternals, you know that in the movie, Icarus and Cersei mate, correct? You've seen that?
Mate.
They had coitus. I don't know. I'm using kid-friendly words here.
They boink.
They boink. Yes or no? You seen that? Yeah. They showed it in. I mean, they didn't show the act, but they showed a very, very detailed video of what was happening.
Fun fact: Chloe Zhao did mention that scene only took 25 minutes to film.
I mean, Richard Madden, yeah, 25 minutes. That's 15 more than me. So
you get 10 minutes.
Yeah, a whole 10. So, right away, my brain went to, okay, so they're Eternals. They were, I guess, I don't know if the word is, made up, robots, clones, they were obviously created. But it tells me that because those two had the sexy time, that they still have human urges, okay? There is relationships, there is feelings involved, even though they're made of matter. Well, love, the feeling of right? Love. Okay, so that was the first thing that tipped me off on this, coming up with this theory. The second thing was, they cry, they bleed, okay? They have emotion. So that tells me that everything about their body are human, okay? Therefore, if they are having the sexy time and all bodily functions are performing correctly, and that you say it for me.
Anatomically correct.
There we go. He's a nurse, ladies and gentlemen. That means that all reproductive organs are probably fair game. Would you say so?
Unless they're from the Avatar world and they got weird braids.
Or dogma.
Ooh, deep cut. I like that. Yeah, like a Ken doll.
But let's assume, again, say it again.
Anatomically correct.
Anatomically correct. They have all male and female body parts. So, that was the first thing that jump-started this theory for me, is I said, okay, they can mate, they may be able to reproduce, okay? and they have the feelings and the emotions. That's number one. Number two of this theory is they, having all these feelings and emotions, they were around for what, some 3,000-4,000 years? Don't quote me on the exact timeline, but obviously they were at the inception of Earth and then up to current times. However many years that was, AC, DC, BC, all that jazz.
I think the timestamp at the beginning of the movie was 5,000, so they've been around for 7,000 years?
Okay, so let's roll with that. So, you mean to tell me in 7,000 years, with correct body parts, emotions, feelings, all that jazz, that each one of the Eternals didn't possibly sleep with humans, each other, so on and so forth, throughout all those years that they were on this Earth? I mean, they had to have urges, is what I'm saying, from this film, how it portrays them to be.
I thought that they weren't allowed. Now, I know that they said regarding Thanos and the large events, they weren't allowed to interfere.
Right.
There was also the reason where there was an earlier scene where the guy that creates everything, what's his name?
Oh, the Celestial?
Yeah.
Arishem?
No, the Eternal, the guy that is able to create all the tech.
Oh, Cheat Sheet?
Yep.
That's Fastos.
Yeah. So there's an earlier part where he's like, look, I can build a steam engine. They're like, that's too advanced. And he goes, oh, right. Okay, well, here's a plow. Whoop-de-doo.
True.
So they can't interfere with human lives that much. So to me, I'm thinking that they probably wouldn't have because they weren't allowed to.
If I'm not mistaken, and I hear what you're saying, I do believe most of it revolved around they weren't allowed to interfere with human conflict.
Yeah, true.
So I think him building the steam engine, all that stuff I think they actually said that it would have jumpstart the revolution of weapons and stuff like that. And they were like, they're not ready for that quite yet.
Okay.
Not to say you're right or wrong, I'm right or wrong, but for this theory, I'm right, okay? Nonetheless, guys, so this is where my wheels started turning. I was like, okay, now we're going to get into the characters. So let's assume that over these 7,000 years, that these Eternals, mated humans with each other, what have you.
Now kiss.
Obviously, some of their biological makeup would then be transferred to children and their children's children and their children's children. As we know, the mutant gene is usually dormant until it gets activated. So just because they slept with a human 5,000 years ago, maybe it took all the lineage of that family line until the mutant gene is ready to emerge or what have you.
What's his name? Is it Apocalypse? No, that's not it. Is that
the
his
villain?
actual name?
Well, his real name is like Inbazur or something like that. Sorry, don't quote me on that either.
Because he's Egyptian. But is Apocalypse his mutant name?
Yes.
Because he's the first mutant.
That's right. Now, the only thing there is obviously on that part of the, I guess, lore, I can't explain how Apocalypse would be the first mutant. Now, they are Eternals, so that doesn't mean that, well, they were in Egypt, sure, in the beginning of the movie, so maybe he slept with one of the women there or men there.
Dude gets around.
Apocalypse was the first one,
Maybe.
right? Which brings me to, actually, good segue, let's talk about Cersei. Her powers were?
Which one's Cersei again? Oh, the matter manipulation.
Matter manipulation. So, I went back through some of the X-Men lore, okay, because I didn't read a lot of the X-Men comics, but I did go back and look at some of the ones that are more popular and what their powers actually were. And speaking of Apocalypse, he actually had matter manipulation abilities, along with, who else? Do you want to take a guess?
Kitty Pryde?
Nope.
Well, she can't.
Even bigger. Think more powerful. I only found this out in my research. So.
Well, Kitty Pryde can kind of do it, but she can't turn things into something else. Magneto can manipulate metal.
Think bigger.
Juggernaut? I don't know.
Like big, like powerful. All right, I'll tell you. It is the Phoenix Force. Actually,
Jean Grey?
Well, it doesn't specifically say Jean Grey, but the Phoenix Force itself has the power of matter manipulation. Okay? Now, I also sit there and we talk about, the Phoenix Force, and correct me if I'm wrong, starts in space and, it hit, the wave hits and all that stuff. But, I mean, let's call it spade a spade. The Eternals are from space, so it still is plausible in that direction. So, using Cersei as an example, she has the power of matter manipulation, and later in the X-Men universe, and in comics and movies, we see examples of matter manipulation. Next, I broke down, I was thinking Icarus. We see him in the movie of the Eternals. He has, I'm going to use energy, that shoots out of his eyes.
Superman.
Think X-Men, Peter.
Superman.
No. So
Cyclops. I know what you're getting at.
exactly.
Cyclops.
So as we know in X-Men, Cyclops and his brother Havoc have the ability to channel energy. Now, I will lean more on Cyclops because of the eye beams, obviously. Very reminiscent of Icarus, except for red, not yellow, of course.
Superman.
No Superman. So that's two Eternals that have the power of X-Men that we know in the larger scale of the X-Men universe. Okay? Now, cheat sheet again. The next one was Kingo.
Oh, that's Gambit.
Gambit and Jubilee. By using mattered energy, they populate energy into their own body, into weapons.
Right, yeah, because Gambit is more kinetic energy, that's right.
Right, but again, could be a variance of the mutant gene from the Eternals over 7,000 years.
That's what mutants do, they mutate.
That's right. Then you have Sprite. Now, what was Sprite? She was your favorite character. You said, so hit me with her powers.
Well, she was the one that really kind of told stories, and she basically made copies of herself. Now, there is an person that does this. I can't.
She also changed her physical appearance multiple times in the movie. And what's one specific?
Oh, that Mystique. But Mystique is a different one because hers is like the whole like.
Oh no, 100%.
But there's another person. I can't think of his name.
The manipulation. No, Multiple Man.
Yeah,
because she does that in the movie. So Multiple Man. So again, similar but different. But again, evolution. Mutant gene over evolution. I could see how these Eternals' powers would translate differently once they reach thousands of years later, down the lineage and down the pedigree and etc. Okay. Next is Phastos. Now, this one was a little harder for me to tie to the X-Men universe. However, I was thinking about his powers a bit more than I should have. I should have been thinking about something that you don't physically see a lot, and that's his brain. Now, who's one of the smartest X-Men that you are aware of?
Professor X.
And his companion?
Magneto and Beast.
Magneto and Beast, actually. So two reasons for this. Beast is super, super smart. Now, I realize Phastos has nothing to do with his physical appearance. I can't really explain that one. However, Beast is super smart. Phastos, super smart. Could have come down the lineage.
I don't think that Beast's mutation, though, is that he's smart. I think he's just a smart dude that happened to go, I feel like being blue today.
Okay,
like that
fair enough. Well, on the flip side, I won't lean on Beast then. Let's lean on the Magneto side of things.
There you go.
Phastos creates weapons and has, a lot of times in the movie, he manipulates metal and those weapons to do his bidding. Now, a little bit of a stretch, maybe, but as we know, Magneto can control metal and bend it to his will, and I did notice that Phastos does do that in some instances in the Eternals movie.
Fair enough.
So, here we are, in a distorted theory, ladies and gentlemen.
Keep going.
From there, we got Makari, which is who?
I can't remember their name. Is that the speedy one?
That's the speedy one.
My girl.
So, give me the most popular X-Men that you think of when you think of speed. Quicksilver. So once again...
The Flash.
Once again, wrong universe. Once again, speed. Makari was zip-zapping around. That's a scat for you guys. But basically, yeah, I was like, you know what, if she...
Given the power of rhythm.
And I was like, if she had mated somewhere along the line and down the lineage, the mutant gene activated, we could potentially get Quicksilver. Next on the list is Druig, which is the guy who controls and mind controls people. And there's two people on the good guys of X-Men that has that power and can speak to people in their mind, and they are...
Jean Grey and Professor X.
That is right. Jean Grey and Professor X. Now, I realize that Druig their eyes went white and he made them do their bidding, which is not all or exactly what Professor X and Jean Grey do. However, they can do that. So maybe they're an advanced version of Druig's eternal gene or mutant gene, what have you.
Mutated.
They have mutated, exactly, and they've learned, they've gotten better over time. Evolution, once again. Next with that, we got Gilgamesh. Now, this one was a fun one because he was my favorite in the video. He used brute force. He had the big energy things that he would just smash people up. And who's some of the big boys in the X-Men universe that you can think of? I actually got two in my brain.
Well, there's the Juggernaut.
There's the Juggernaut, which is just a tank.
Okay, so don't come for me in the comments, but I think...
Come for me in the comments.
He is, but his mutant power isn't that he's super strong. The unstoppable thing, he gets that from a gem. There's something that he gets that turns him into the Juggernaut.
Okay.
But anyways, like again, I could be missing that a little bit.
Fair enough.
Who's the other guy?
He's debunking me. I'll move on to the next example. I was thinking Colossus. Yes, he does go full metal. However, he is super strong and still has that protective, as you know from the movie, Gilgamesh was very much a shield as much as he was a weapon. So I was like, Colossus? You compare those two together and somewhere down the lineage, maybe that's what happened.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Next on the list, guys, we got Ajax. Now, this one was a fun one as well. Do you remember, Peter, what Ajax's power was?
She can heal.
She can heal. And please give the viewers the main mutant that we know that has the healing factor.
Deadpool.
Which was stolen from Wolverine. That's right. So Wolverine,
2 Canadian superheroes. I love it.
And I'll let you take this one because I know you know a bit about Wolverine. A lot of people often get mistaken that Wolverine's powers are the metal and the exoskeleton, but take it away and let them know what his actual power is.
His healing factor is the ultimate thing that helped him back in the 1800s when he was born. That's how he found it with his brother Sabretooth. And they both
Sabretooth also has healing factor.
He does. It's not as good as Wolverine's. And Sabretooth has the claws that come out, and he's got big teeth. And Wolverine has his bone claws.
Bone claws.
That when they put him in the Weapon X program, then they bonded adamantium to him and gave him his skeleton. So that's...
Or was it vibranium?
God damn it.
I would love to hear the word adamantium used in the MCU. That will be a glorious day when it happens.
Anatomically correct.
Correct. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, we got Thena. Now, as you know from Eternals, Thena generates, again, energetic weapons from midair.
Oh, yeah,
She channels it. So, one example of a mutant that I know that does that as well was Psylocke. A bit more of a villain, more than an X-Man per se, but still shows that if Thena had made it with some people in the past, over time, her power could translate to someone else. So, I've given you the information. Peter, what do you think of that theory? And could I possibly correct in future movies to come with the MCU?
Okay, so...
Break it down for me. Let me have it.
So, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Their powers are very similar to many other things that you find in the MCU. However...
Yep, give it to me straight.
These powers, when the comics were created, way back when Stan Lee and Jack Kirby were putting their heads together to figure this stuff out, they had a limited amount of things to try and figure out. Now, I'm not saying that this is implausible. They could introduce the X-Men through this way of doing it because they have similar powers. But there are only so many powers that they can give away.
True.
That they can give people and everything like that. So you're going to find some similarities between people over time. And you can see this. Now, I know I'm jumping, and you've seen me make the jokes here about The Flash. You've made the jokes about Superman. You may see me mention Wonder Woman. Yep. When you see any of this come down from anything that's happening, I'm going to bring in another universe. Okay?
Okay.
I can't remember what universe
this is his distorted theory now, ladies and gentlemen.
If anyone has been following Amazon Prime in the last year or so, there was a show that came up called Invincible. Okay?
Never seen it.
No. Amazing, gory show, animated, with our boy J. Jonah Jameson voicing one of the main characters.
Okay.
And at the very beginning of the show, you see a very similar organization to the Justice League of America. There are several characters. You've got a Batman character. You've got a Flash. You've got your Speedster. You've got this. It is a very common thing that you're going to be seeing around. And each universe does borrow comic powers from character to character. Like we've got Quicksilver. We've got Flash.
Yeah.
We've got Iron Man. We've got Batman. We've got Spider-Man. There is a Spider-Man in the DCU too, but he's really strange, much like Condiment Man. Yeah. That is an actual person in the DCU. He's just has the power of mustard and ketchup. It's horrific. So amongst all of these, I'm not saying that they can't be attributed to the X-Men.
Fair enough.
But I'm saying it is a stretch. It's a theory. I'm not saying no.
No. Well, I mean,
just don't be disappointed if it doesn't happen.
Hey, listen, that's the whole point of these kind of segments we're going to be doing, guys, in the future. We're going to be breaking down everything that we think could be happening in future movies, the MCU, in our Distorted Theory segments. So if you want to catch more videos like this, you want to listen to us go on a few tangents and a few distorted theories, if you have a second, guys, please like this video, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future videos from us coming up with our theories and with all the fun trailer reactions, unboxing, gaming reviews.
And don't forget to comment as well, because obviously we're going to do our best to reply to you guys. We love having the back and forth with some. We've had some people mention anything.
It's fun.
So yeah, we love the interaction, and we love to see a little bit more.
Cool. All right, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm the real Jussy.
I'm Peter Pork.
He said porker. Like we always say, guys, keep it real.
Keep it real.